guys, and welcome back to another What I Watched. Before I kick off with it, apologies for this. I've just dyed my roots. It's that time of the month. No, that sounded all wrong. It's not that. It's root time. My hair is still soaking on top of my head. It takes like at least an entire day to dry. So now that's explained, let's get kicked off with it. Okay, my lovely Letterboxd. So let me kick off with the most exciting of films on the 1st of June, Peter Rabbit 2. The Runaway. Okay, so I took my son Isaac to see this with his friend. They both seemed to enjoy it. Some of the creatures were really cute. I love the hedgehog. I'm not a fan of this at all. I love cute animals. James Corden irritates me. I don't know, it just isn't for me, but I could see how it's a really fun kids film, something that you can watch with your family, nothing remotely offensive in there. It was very clever, it's very well done. The acting, although absolutely fine, it was so syrupy sweet and lovely and nice and wholesome, and I like a little bit of edge even to my kids stuff. I mean, there's certain kids animations that have got that little bit of humour added that's not completely twee. This is just way too wholesome for me, but I can admit that for kids, clearly I'm not the target audience here, so what I say doesn't really matter. If you've got young children, they probably will love it. It's very well done. It looks really beautiful, it's very pretty, but yeah, not for me. But I knew that before I even went to see it. On the 2nd, now I've actually done a video about the true story of this, which is so interesting if you want to check it out. Now this is not a documentary, it's a movie based on the true event, but it's very close to the actual event itself. This covers a young girl, 17-year-old Lisa McVeigh, who is abducted and goes through an absolutely terrible time, but she is the most brave. I don't want to tell you what happened because I don't want to spoil it. If you do want to know the story, you can watch my video. I go into exactly what happened and the complete true story. But this young girl's bravery is just second to none, and what she has had to tolerate in her past. Her life was terrible before this happened, and her ingenuity and bravery caught someone extremely dangerous. What happened to her is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a much bigger story underneath this, but it's well worth a watch. I don't like to use the expression for this sort of thing. I really enjoyed it, but it was a really interesting watch, and then the delve into the true story afterwards, for me, really interesting. So check out that movie or check out my video about the true story if you're in any way interested. It's a really good one. Okay, so I give that a 4 out of 5. On the 4th, oh my god, I love this. I have been wanting to see this for ages. Darren says you should do your next true crime about this, but I don't feel brave enough to go into this territory. If you've seen it, you will know why. I watched this and I deliberately avoided everything about it. I think I watched 2 people's reviews and I loved what I heard. And I thought, right, I'm going to avoid everything I see about this and I'm going to watch this. At the end, it's a true story. I was blown away that this was actually true. Now, I'm going to give you an idea what this is about. I'm not going to go into loads of detail. This is filmed very much like Searching or The Host. Everything's on a computer screen. Do not let that put you off at all. This is so engaging, start to finish. This covers a young journalist who wants to infiltrate ISIS, basically. There are a lot of young British girls being recruited online from Syria and basically invited out there, and we know the whole story. But this journalist pretends to be someone that's interested in the whole cause. She sets up a Facebook page, she has to get their trust, and she enters into this online communication with someone within the organisation. She's trying to get all the information, trying to like record screens, trying to like not be tripped up. The whole way through this I was trying to guess where it was going to go, and there are so many different directions this could have taken. I did not guess the end of this. I cannot say enough good things about this. It's acted fantastically. The person that she actually gets in contact with and speaks to online, it shows you how convincing they are to a young... Now, this woman's 29. Well, I'm not sure what age she is, but eventually she admits she's 29 to this guy. But the girls that are going out there are really young, and this is alluded to also within their chats. She has a friend who's 15, and he says, oh, that's fine, girls out here are getting married at 14. But you actually, watching it as a female, the guy is so charismatic, and you can see how women become attracted to them. Now, obviously, as you get older, you've got the common sense and you realise this is just all to capture young girls, but the thought of a young teenage girl getting attention and the things that they do and say they're going to provide, you just watch this. It's, the guy that starred in this, what was his name? Why is it not there? It doesn't say who the cast are. He was amazing, absolutely fantastic, really reeled you in and really made you feel something. And when I heard this was true, I was just blown away. Darren says you really must do a true crime about this, but the thought, I don't know if you know what a fatwa is. Watch this and you'll know what a fatwa is. It shows you one in this. But basically a fatwa is where they issue, if you see this person, they have sinned against, I don't know, Allah or, Islam. If you find them, kill them. But it shows you a video, and it's so terrifying, it's so frightening. It just filled me with complete and utter fear, and the thought of even talking about this subject scares me. So I don't know that I have the bravery to do that, but this movie, guys, check it out, it's so good. It's called Profile. Give that a 4.5 out of 5. I absolutely loved it. I went to the cinema the next day, or was that the same? No, anyway, I think it was the next day. I went to the cinema to see A Quiet Place 2. I knew I was going to love it. All the reviews I'd heard were completely positive. No one disliked it. Was it as good as the first? Yes, it probably was as good as the first. I could have watched another half hour. Now, this, most people watching this have seen the movie. If you haven't, we lead completely on from where A Quiet Place ended. But the first 15 minutes of this movie sets up the first movie, so it starts when everything was normal, and it shows you the arrival of these creatures. The shit hits the fan, basically. I could have watched a movie about that in its entirety. I would love to see, like, I suppose you could call it an origin story of these creatures. I love this. The only criticism I would have, but it's not about the movie or the direction or the acting, because that was all second to none. Just some of the character decisions were really frustrating because they were stupid, and it was like, oh my god, it's like if you watched Army of the Dead, just the daughter in that, just every decision that woman made, I just wanted to kick her in the arse. That happens a couple of times in this, not to such an extent as Army of the Dead, but special mention, I have to look down, Millicent Simmons, the daughter in A Quiet Place 2. She was wonderful in the first one, but she has very much got a leading role in this, and she is wonderful. There is a third one on the cards, and also a spin-off as well. I can't say enough good things. Everybody was fantastic in this, really well worth watching. Check it out. Again, another 4.5. This has been a good week. Right. The same evening in bed, I watched a documentary called A Perfect Victim. This could have been so much better than it was. It dragged a lot, and it shouldn't have with the actual subject matter. This is about women that have gone through a lifetime of abuse from their partners or their husbands, and it has led them to kill their husbands, and in some cases to protect their kids. And these women have been incarcerated for life. And really, who's it protecting? Are these women a danger to society? Basically, they underwent years of abuse and they cracked, they snapped. So for over 30 years, 3 women have languished in Missouri State Prison under unjust sentences for killing their abusive husbands, denied the opportunity to enter the abuse into evidence. So when the court trial happened, they weren't allowed to say, this is what he was doing to me. That wasn't allowed to be discussed at all. But that's changed since the laws have changed. Each of the women represents a system broken by outdated and media sensationalised stereotypes. So yeah, it follows these three women and their story, and they talk from prison. Really interesting subject matter, and it had the potential to be a really, really riveting documentary, but something was missing for me. I gave that a 2.5 out of 5. I'm just really interested in that subject matter. Now the next one I haven't actually rated because I'm still watching it. It's Mayor of Easttown with Kate Winslet. I did say last week I really wanted to see this. She plays a detective in a small village, like town. There has been a murder that's linked to other previous things that seems to have happened in the area. This is sort of both a look at this detective's life, things that's happened to her, how she's trying to cope, her job, how I love her character. She just takes no crap. She's rude, she's opinionated, and she does not care. She just does not care what people think of her. And I love that in a female character. We get that in male characters a lot, but not often in a female one, and I love this. So I've watched a few episodes. I haven't finished it. I will get back to you with what I think at the end. But so far, fantastically acted. Guy Pearce is in this also. And that actress that my husband swore blind was Kim Cattrall, and it did look like her. Jean Smart. Jean Smart and Kim Cattrall just look so much alike, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm enjoying Mare of Easttown at the minute. I'll let you know when I finished what I thought. And finally, last night I watched Communion. I think Emma from Spooky Astronauts mentioned this. And what opened my eyes was, oh, Christopher Walken's in this. I love Christopher Walken. So I think I was tired. I think this is quite dated because I didn't originally see it back in 1989 when it was released. This is the true story. Right, I didn't know that bit. This is about a writer played by Christopher Walken who, on a family break, witnesses UFO, basically aliens. And this isn't so much about what happened or what he saw as his descent into complete and utter madness, paranoia. He undergoes hypnosis, his relationship with his family and how they feel. I'm just going to knock this off. So a novelist's wife and son see him changed by an apparent encounter with aliens in the mountains. I found it quite slow. I found it dragged. It's one of those quite arty movies, quite surrealistic, and sometimes I'm not in the mood for fancy pantsery. I want to watch something easy. Before that I put on The Voices from 2014 with Ryan Reynolds, which is like the comedy where he can hear animals speaking, and that was irritating me. I'm thinking, no, I'm not getting into this. This is one of these weird kooky movies that just don't do it for me at all. So I put that on and I was just, no, it wants me to think. It wants me to get the artistic integrity in this, and I want to watch something daft. So I'm maybe being unfair with a 2 out of 5, but you really need to have your brain switched on. I read a lot of IMDb reviews on this, and it seems to be very much people that love it for how accurate and true it is, or people that just were bored senseless by it. Christopher Walken's performance is really good, but he always is. Christopher Walken's fantastic. I was really, really struck by how attractive he is in this. He's quite young. And he's just, his eyes reminds me a lot of Udo Kier. Used to be in a lot of horror movies like Dracula and stuff. But yeah, watch it if you want to see something about abduction that's a little bit different and that deals more with the human psyche than the actual event that's happened. That's what I'll say. So I'm sort of like on the fence about that because I don't think I was in the mood to give it a proper chance. So that's what I've watched this week. Nothing else. I don't think there's any other TV series. I finished Move to Heaven, the Korean series. Oh my god, I loved it. I cannot tell you. I absolutely adored it. It's on Netflix. Really, give it a watch. Move to Heaven. It's beautiful. It's just such satisfying television. And if you finish that and you don't cry, what's wrong with you? So that's what I've watched this week. Thank you guys for watching. I have got my review of Spiral up last week, and today I will edit my review of A Quiet Place from when I went to the cinema. I don't do individual movie reviews very often because there are so many out there and people are a lot more talented at talking. I either waffle too much about the movie or I don't say enough about it, so that's why this to me works better. It just sort of, I do this to give people an idea on what they should check out, or occasionally you find something that's not that well known and you can let people know about it. So there's one I watched, was it called Cardboard Towns? I need someone to watch that and tell me what you think of it. It's so good. and Move to Heaven. I'd love to speak to anyone that's seen it as well. My answers for Random Horrors Saw Tag is also there if you want to give that a go. I'm sure Ross would say feel free. I have tagged a few people, so hopefully we'll see a few more entries on that coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thank you for watching, guys. I shall see you next week for another What I Watched. Over and out from Lisa Loves.